Hey guys, welcome to Vidivic Arts. I'm Josh, and we are back on the Dreadnought today, but this time we have customized it just a teensy-weensy bit, so we've also added a las gun just to make some more guns and accessories. I do want to focus a little bit more on guns later on. This is more of a overhaul on the feng shui or aesthetic to the Dreadnought. Here he is. He looks really cool. I'm calling him the Skullnought for an obvious reason. He has a bunch of skulls along here, well, he's got the main skull here. He's got skulls all over him with the little kind of like gothic archway and an object in the center. I think it looks really cool. The paint scheme I've gone for is the Hospitaller, rustic look where I'm going for. They are more or less treating Nurgle victims, so their armor is quite far gone in the way of disrepair, but they're still functional. Now here is the las gun. I do have a version that is not as fancy as this, and you'll be able to download that through these files. I will make a separate version where it's just Dreadnought accessories and not this Skullnought. So if you want to wait for that, you can download all the files there, or you can download it here, up to you. Now, one of the cool things about this model is that skull in the center and this entire centerpiece. So this is a completely different hull, you could call. The back as well has different engines. Now, I've got different variants for this centerpiece as well. So if you wanted to have this look, but the normal Dreadnought body, like this one, I'll just pull over here, like this here. So if you wanted that face, and for whatever reason, you could keep that face and all the other stuff there. So the little sword and the skull pieces and the two engines. I do have a variant with two engines as well, as opposed to four, but I think the four makes him look a little bit heavier. The other cool thing is the fact that we can swap parts around and they still look rather good. So if I take this gun off here and this las gun and put it on this guy, it still kind of suits him. Obviously the color scheme is not really working for him, but if I change it for the guy who has the white torso, we see that it's not too bad. It doesn't take too much away from him, so you can use these on Dreadnoughts that are plain if you wanted to. Now, one of the other things I learnt while printing these is, I'll have to show you this here. When I printed this, you can see there's layer lines right here. Now these layer lines happen because when I printed it, it printed flat like this. So this is the printing bed, it printed flat. So when it came up to the top level, there wasn't really much to go each layer. I'm pretty sure I could count these layer lines if I wanted to. So what I did was, I didn't want to have these layer lines, so I printed it, instead of flat like this, I printed it on an angle like that. And if we compare the pair here, these are both on the exact same printer, you can see this one is actually really ugly looking. You can see those layer lines, and it's really hard to hide them unless you're gonna go and sand them or use some sort of special technique to kind of melt it down. But that's a lot more extra effort that you don't really have to go into if you just print it like this. Now, if you could feel this model, it is baby bottom smooth. It is really nice. Compared to this, that's really gross and jagged. That works for a couple models. You can get that look to work, but for this Dreadnought, I think it really doesn't work. One of the other cool things is for flat surfaces, the printer kind of does this weird thing where it'll leave like gaps and stuff. Like you can see here, it's kind of like diagonal because that was the last layer that it had to print, and it doesn't really work too well for flat surfaces, I find. So printing them on an angle is definitely the way to go. Now that applies for all the guns and stuff as well. Normally I would print this thing like that, but I have gone and printed it on an angle, and it actually increases the strength of the model as well, because the layer lines are, well, they're the weak point, so if you were to snap it, it would break off at those layer lines. So with this gun, if it was printed upright and I tried to snap it, it would print along just straight across there or any point where the ley lines are. But now it's actually got a little bit more strength to it, just because the angle is on an odd angle, and it's increased the amount that it's printed. It's kind of difficult to explain. I've done this for all of these, and they've increased strength in total. So I think I'm going to be printing a lot more stuff on angles, just because of this strength and quality. I think quality is a big deal as well, because a lot of you guys are asking me, how am I getting this kind of quality on a printer, an FDM printer? I gotta clarify, because some of you guys were asking me. Yeah, this is FDM, and it's on an Ender 3, and it's also on the normal setting, not the fine setting. So this is really high quality work for something that would be considered rather poor on the setting scale. So definitely look at printing your stuff on angles, and make sure that your printer has got a nice bed for adhesion. And yeah, that's the model. So we've got this gun here, we've got the different variants, so it isn't so fancy, and we've got this claw here. You can see all the details that are on it. You got a nice little skull in there, and the cross. Now these crosses are the Hospitaller markings, and I didn't really want to have that forced upon everyone, so I will have different variations where they don't have that, so you can make your models more, whatever faction you wanted to have. The crosses on the inside here are just crosses with skulls on them, so it doesn't really mark any kind of insignia of any kind. Now this piece down here, I'm wanting to leave blank for now. I will make a piece where you can shove in like a flamer or like a little gun or something into that, and hopefully it works nicely. I haven't worked on it yet, but that is what that little bit down there is for. I have seen also that some people have already customized my model to have lights and stuff in here. Don't worry, I am working on the variations and like accessories for these guys. So I'm gonna have like smoke launchers and stuff, and the lights, and that'll be an entire weapon pack by itself. For now, it is blank there, just for you guys to be able to customize to your own wits. It's completely up to you. But yeah, that's really awesome that people have already gone and made their own custom versions. Now this is my third Dreadnought, and he's really cool. Really happy with the way they've come out. My painting technique is really different to how I initially did my white Dreadnought. Because the white I kind of whinged about quite a bit. I didn't like how I had to apply multiple layers, and I had a whole bunch of different critiques in the comment section. I had people say you've got to work up layers from black to grey, and grey. I kind of looked at that. I didn't really want my guy to look grey at all. I really wanted to have it look more like a creamy white. So I just went with a creamy white. I used the Flayed One Flesh, and that is what this is. I've gone and painted Flayed One Flesh all over the thing, and with the bolt gun metal, or the lead belcher for the metallic parts. And I really like the way it came out. Like, it looks like it's meant to be white. It's a cream, but it looks like it's white. And I could go in and highlight it with extra white bits if I really wanted to add that extra detail. But that creamy white looks really cool. I also went in and added that dirty look with the snake bite leather contrast, which I've been using on basically all of my models. It works really well with metal as well. It makes it kind of look rusty. So in here you can see that is the lead belcher metal, if I get no glare. And then I've added the snakebite leather, and it makes it look really dirty, rusty. I'm not really sure what kind of look that is. But then I've also gone and added the oxidization, which is really cool on top of that. I just love this look for this specific group of Marines. I know a lot of you aren't happy with the color scheme, but I am. I'm sorry if you guys don't like it. You're more than welcome to make your own armies by printing them. They are completely free in the downloads below. So get printing and get painting, and share them with me, because I would love to see what you guys paint these guys as. There's also the legs that I forgot, the armor plating here. So that is an additional little fancy looking armor plating that you can add to your Dreadnought, and it will work for just the plain old Dreadnought too. You can see here, it doesn't take away too much from the, the focus. You can mix and match, and that's what I really want to do here. I want to make different models that you can mix and match and do whatever you want with them, and hopefully we can get some really cool looking models out there. The other thing, lastly, I want to add is if you wanted to add this arm on this side here, so you wanted to have it over here but the right way up, all you have to do is flip it. I'm not sure what slices you all use. I use Cura, which is completely free and is really good. That's what I use for everything. Well, everything that uses FDM printing. You can put it into the software and flip it, and you'll be able to get the opposite side of what this looks like. Now, I've actually done that with the legs as well, so you can see here, it's kind of difficult to see, but one has the left leg forward and the other has the right leg forward, and all I've done is flipped it just to get that slight variation so you don't have the exact same look for all of the models. You won't need to do it for the Dreadnoughts, the heads, because they are more or less completely identical, but the arms are really worth doing, just flipping it so you can get some different variants. Same with the machine guns, and when we have more parts, you'll be able to do that and make an entire army of Dreadnoughts, which is going to be really cool to see. So, let's just put these together. I'm going to put them together in completely random order. I really love these guys. They are turning out to be a really cool project to work on. This guy's got 2 chain guns, that's pretty cool. So, we've got 3 Dreadnoughts here. The basing is just plaster, which is really awesome and easy to do, so you can check that out in the previous video if you want to see how I did that. I really went through it rather quickly, so I will be making a dedicated video where I work on bases eventually. I'm not sure when. I do want to have completely customized bases as well, so that when you print them up, they've already got like stones and little decals on the bases themselves. So that's the end of this here Skullnought, and hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully you guys can print some up. Completely available, free on Thingiverse down in the description below. So get downloading and get painting. And if you want, you can head over to Patreon and pledge a couple dollars per video or per month to support me in the making of all of these projects. You don't have to, but it is super appreciated, and you will also get some extra behind the scenes stuff sometimes, but more importantly you get some exclusive models, which are always awesome to have. Now, next we are going to be working on a Space Marine model, and we're going to be focusing more on a little bit more Space Marine models, and just because on my list at the top of it I've got more or less like Assault Marine, Heavy Machine Gun Squad, and like Space Marine variants and all those kind of stuff. So I want to get them out of the way. So the next couple videos will be Space Marine models. Did I say Space Marine? I meant Future Soldier. Yeah, Future Soldier, guys. Alright, I'll see you in the next one, and as always, stay awesome. See you guys.